Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is May 20th today. So a couple of interesting days we've had. You've got Trump threatening the World Health Organizations and of course, blaming them for every little thing that's gone wrong in America in terms of this pandemic. You have a president who is self-medicating with that, let me see if I get this right, hydroxychloroquine, which is for malaria, okay? And it's not good for people with some of the health conditions that he has, but that's okay too. You've got Pompeo not only kind of really encouraging the president to get rid of this particular inspector general who is, checking out whether or not he actually had the authority to sell those arms to Iran, I believe it was, and two, whether or not he was making his aides walk the dog and pick up Chinese food. Not his aides, his aides, sorry. So, it just doesn't sound like the smartest people are at the head of the parade. Okay, it just kind of doesn't. And so I thought maybe I would just sort of take a quick look and see if we can figure out what the heck is going on down there, eh? So that's my question. Literally, what the heck? What's going on? And come on down because I have that question. Let's go. All right. So I have two little cute communication stones here in blue. There. Okay, so what is going on with the Trump administration? Okay, so you got the devil front and center, right? Okay. Everybody is doing everything they can to get, well, the getting's good. There's just not another way to phrase this. It's like part of the reason that you see all the insanity is because they know that they know there's not a win coming for them. They know. And so, and most of them also know that they have ruined future chances to be respected in most Hollywood circles. So what are they going to do? They're going to get all the ducks that they can lined up so that when this thing does come crashing down, they have, business associates and interest in companies. They have, you know what I mean? Like they put all the pieces into place so that they're not without resources. And that is literally what you have going on here. And so you have Republican governors who just are determined to force this, your country to get back into action. You have secretaries of, state, of finance, of et cetera. And a whole bunch of those inspector generals have been fired because people are really doing what they can to dig in as deep as they can and get as much as they can. You have the 10 of Pentacles sitting here and the 2 of Wands. So we're talking literally about looking outward, looking to the future financially. Okay, and because you've got the lovely Six of Pentacles sitting here, well, that of course is talking about sort of that this for that, right? That kind of an exchange. So, and there's a whole lot of that going on right now. So it's like, okay, well, you want me to really encourage this whatever to go through or to block. What do I get in return? There's a lot of that going on right now. In fact, it's just ugly with that which is going on right now. And the problem is that the news keeps on getting bad. It just, it, it it's as if it is literally, it is as if Trump and certainly some of his closest associates um, have a death wish, right? They've taken bravado of, I'm strong, I'm tough, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm brilliant, I'm smart, yak, yak, yak. They've taken that to a place where they're so disconnected from reality that they're having a hard time sort of understanding that this news isn't getting better for them, it's getting worse for them. And so you literally have the ending of a lot of careers, whether that is, as I said, governors or senators or House representatives or secretaries of whatever. There's like a whole lot of people, excuse me, stuffing their pockets. So, and that ultimately, you know what I mean? That's going to be a big part of what slows this whole thing down and brings this whole thing down, because the truth always, always bubbles up to the surface. It just does. Some of the people in his inner circle, literally, they had sort of a really tough decision to make, right? Either they were going to do what's wrong, or they were going to do what was right. Either they were going to fulfill their jobs as a representative of the people, or they were going to go full throttle ahead as a representative of themselves and their greed. They chose greed. It just chose greed. So it's a fairly interesting dynamic, right? It's sort of like, yep, I know there's this judgment raining down on my head, and Lord, it's uncomfortable. And people are really questioning my loyalty to the country. People are really questioning what I've done and or haven't done. But in the final analysis, I ended up with what I wanted. All those pentacles. Like, it's a really interesting dynamic and feeling. And this isn't only about Trump. This is like a lot of the people around him, right? It was like, this was their kick at glory. This was going to be their legacy, their moment in the sun. And what they discovered is that under strong light, things didn't hold up very well, and their legacy really is in tatters. So then it's a matter of getting as much as you can while you can get it. There's a lot of scraping and scrapping behind the scenes. People are well aware of what other people are doing, mostly because they're doing it themselves. But there's a lot of friction going on, because what's happening is people have to start making a decision, and have started making decisions about, sink or swim. And what's happening is that really, really, the only ones that are prepared to sink with him are ultimately the ones that don't swim away. Everybody else is going to start doing the dog paddle as fast as they can over the next coming weeks and months, because it just isn't going to get any better. The crazy is going to continue. The really stupid things. Like, why would Pompeo do something that was going to bring the wrath of the country down on his head, and then admit it? Yeah, absolutely. I'm the guy who told Trump to get rid of the guy. I didn't like the way he was investigating stuff. Are you kidding me? Anybody else, hung by their toes, right? Nope, not this guy. So there's just a lot of that really stupid Trump's out there telling the world that he's taking a drug that could kill him, but his reply is always like this, what do you have to lose? What do I have to lose? Well, your life. Okay, just your life, I guess. Or whatever health you still call your own. You have, there's just so, you've got Trump arguing with the World Health Association. Like, honestly, all the rest of the world is getting together to figure out how to fight this virus, to how to treat this virus, to come up with what they can come up with, except for the United States, because the United States is over here. And you know why it's over here? Because Trump wants as much stuff connected to that to be produced and done and handled exclusively in the United States. Because why? Well, because that lines the pockets of the people who are producing this, creating this, whatever, and that in Trump's mind means that they owe him. Like, every other country is like, let's get together and figure this out. Trump is like, no, unless it comes from my country, it's garbage. It's just like stupid. Okay. Also want you to just take a moment and understand and realize that there have been some hearings going on, House hearings going on, committee hearings. And, there's been conversations about what was done behind the scenes, what wasn't done behind the scenes, what people are trying to do. Some of them are just explaining the crazy. Others of them are trying to justify the crazy. Yesterday, we were treated to Mnuchin stating the crazy, right? Well, if we don't get back to work, the country's going to collapse. Oh, well, people are dead, so what? Like, okay, so it's the crazy leading the crazy. In fact, I think I'm going to call this whole thing the group of stupid. Okay, because it's as if they're all blinded to what they need in the immediate to survive, that they just keep losing sight of what this is going to look like in the pages of history. Okay, so this is the thing. This is going to continue, okay? When there's stuff going on that is not casting Trump in a good light, he diverts attention. So there was those couple of days where people were literally talking about, things that have been cut off from the organizations who were working with the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't looking so good for Trump. So what does he do? Well, I'm taking this hydroxychloroquine, and you know what? I'm just fine. And he knows, big shiny red ball. Who knows? Who actually has proof? Has anybody actually seen him pop a pill? No. But he just saying the words is enough to divert attention. So then everybody's saying, how stupid is Trump, instead of saying, oh my God, how incompetent is he? He has destroyed our chances as a country of really getting a handle on this pandemic thing. Nope. Everybody wants to go here so they can call him stupid or crazy. And their attention is once again diverted. He knew that Mnuchin and Powell were going to be in those conversations yesterday in those House committees. So he knew, first of all, saying that he takes it would be a good story for at least a couple days. And then he starts screaming about the World Health Organization. So it's all about him diverting attention. And you got to understand, he's brilliant at it. I'm sorry, he is. I mean, I remember a story. I don't know how many of you know this story or have heard this story, but when Princess Diana and Prince Charles, their marriage was sort of coming apart, and things didn't look good. Trump released a rumor that said that Princess Diana was seriously looking to change her residence and move to New York, and she was very, very interested in one of the Trump buildings, of course. The palace denied it and said it wasn't true. But you know what? For weeks and months, that story was taking up all the oxygen, and Trump's businesses were thriving because, oh my God, if it's good enough for Princess Diana, I must have it because I'm among the rich and stupid. Sorry. So he is a master, and he ultimately admitted, yeah, no, there was none of that was going on. I just said it because I knew it would have the kind of business response that I wanted. So let's not for 1 second convince ourselves that he doesn't know what he's doing. He absolutely knows what he's doing. And the worse it's going to get for him in the media, with information coming out, with more reporting, with the numbers continuing to grow and his poll numbers tanking. Oh my Lord, what's he going to do? He's going to change the topic. He's going to change the subject. He's going to pull out whatever it is that's necessary that is going to allow him to walk away from the situation and, kind of hope that he's unscathed. And you know what? It's not actually going to work for him because too many people are starting to pay really close attention to what's going on. And he's starting really to look incredibly erratic. And as a result, the people around him are starting to look like guilty by association, right? It's as if they don't, because they're not doing anything, because everybody is just sort of either standing silent or saying stupid stuff like, well, the president has the right to work with the kind of people he wants to work with, yak, yak. So they look bad, he looks worse, and so what is their game plan? Their game plan is destruction. That's what they do. That's all they do. That's it. That is the whole selection of their skills at this point. So it's definitely looking like there really is some kind of stupid going on. I mean, I'm sorry, but it just feels like the more information comes out, the more sort of insane the news is going to become, right? Because they're going to be so desperate to change the subject, do whatever it takes, that it's going to become more and more outlandish, kind of, with every day, I guess. All right. So I want to take a look at how some of these people are going to, fare going forward. What is it going to look like for them? So I'm going to take a look. It's going to just be a 2 or 3 card flip out as I go through these people. Okay. So and I can only remember some names. So Okay, here we go. Tell me about Minution in the future. Minution in the future. Minution in the future. Okay, well, so there you have it. A couple of things are going to happen, okay? He thinks right now that he's sitting in a really powerful position. Well, and to be fair, he is, right? I mean, for God's sakes, he's Secretary of Finance or whatever his official title is. So he's like out there like strutting his stuff and I'm the cool guy and I'm the man and all that nonsense. And it's working, right, in the kind of circles he travels in because, of course, he's corrupt, like the circles are. And he's doing everything he can to make big business grow and thrive and squash whatever little man they can step on along the way. So he right now is in his strength. What he's not understanding is that a couple things are going to happen. One, this is going to crash. When it crashes, there's going to be investigations. When the investigations happen, he's not going to come out very well. He's really not. He's going to try to divert attention and whatever. Maybe he even lays low after this. But you know what? Ultimately, he's going to end up in a place where he really is going to have to justify his behaviors and his choices. And again, at the point where Trump is seen globally as, you know, corrupt and a thief and all those things, standing behind the wall, I was doing it for the president. That's what the president, it makes him, it's going to make him look worse, right? Because it's like, oh my God, right? What? You just watched him shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and didn't think maybe you should ask him if you could take the gun away from him, for God's sakes? Pompeo. Pompeo future, Pompeo future, Pompeo future. Okay. At this point, as things sit right now, he is going to ride out the worst of this. He's a politician and he's a savvy one, whether you like him or not. And he is going to just ride this out, just almost like with bravado, right? So what if I did, right? That kind of an attitude. And for right now, it's going to work for him. I hate to tell you this, but it really does look like it's going to work for him. And he is cementing some rather significant partnerships along the way. And so in some ways, he's almost willing to do whatever he has to do now because he feels very much like he has his future set and established. It's not like he doesn't have a plan B after this. He has a plan B, C, and D, okay? So he's pretty confident in the fact that he can just brush stuff off that comes out that doesn't make him look good because he's feeling actually really, really secure with the partnerships he has until the change of fortune comes to him. And then he's gonna be in trouble when things start coming out. It's just so not going to be good for him. It's really not. So yeah. So Pompeo looks in the immediate future as almost like as if he's going to get away with it, but he won't. Ultimately, he won't. And I would even go so far as to say that it's really possible that it'll even be in this lifetime that he'll be made to pay, if you will, for some of the stuff that's gone on. Short time drive. Okay, tell me about, I want to know about Jared and Ivanka. What does the future look like for them? Wait. Jared and Ivanka future, Jared and Ivanka future, Jared and Ivanka future. Hang on here. Sorry about that. It really is true. The animals do run the house. Okay. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, here we go. So again, these are two people who really believe that they are in a position of power. It's sort of like watching what has gone on in Washington in the last 4 years. They really feel like they have taken a graduate class or a master's class in how to be corrupt. And they're wow, they're so excited to get out there and keep on keeping on. And they think that they're going to build this big name for themselves and the brand is going to be resurrected and it's going to be amazing. Unfortunately, what they're going to discover is there's going to be too much investigation and information being continually released about all the things that they've done that is illegal. And that's ultimately going to leave them really, really out in the cold with not a whole lot of prospects. They're going to look to those people who they mistakenly thought they were friends with. But the friends, of course, don't really have any more use for them. And a lot of people have had to look at behaviors that are not very flattering to the couple. Ultimately, they're not going to really be able to defend themselves. They're going to have just a really unfortunate thing forward. They may lose a lot of their money. They may have to give it away to correct things. Certainly, I've always seen a lot of assets going towards clearing their name and defending themselves. So that's interesting. Now, yeah, you know what? Interestingly, they really are going to kind of end up carrying the brunt of this. And I mean, I guess part of the reason is going to be, let's face it, Trump isn't going to be around forever. But Jared and Ivanka were in the White House the whole time. They're much younger. They're going to have many, many more questions to answer for a really long time in their life going forward. And the bottom line reality there is that they don't have good answers and they're never going to have good answers. And so they're not going to be able to redeem themselves. You know, I don't know if one or the other of them ends up in jail. Certainly anything like that is not going to happen until there have been, until Democrats have all three parts of the government, and more importantly, that you've got an AG in there who is not interfering and letting the investigations, go forward. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't have real clarity on that yet, but either way, it's not going to be a very pleasant experience for them once all the books start coming out and once all the stories start being released about exactly what they did or didn't do in the White House. And last one, let's take a look at Trump future, Trump and his future, Trump and his future. Let's see what we can see. Okay, so this is an interesting little snapshot because what it's saying is right now he is just totally in that, place where he's the king and they're the royal family and he has friends all over the world and those friends are going to love him and support him and protect him. And it's just all fabulous. He really does see himself, as king. It's interesting because as the waters get rockier for him, and there's more bad news and more stuff's coming out that doesn't make him look good, you're going to again see that kind of really insane volatility with him. And so this is sort of immediately where he's sitting. And it almost looks like that's like for now, the next several months. Then there is going to be this period of illness or retreat. So that really, to me, would represent kind of roughly the election. He's going to end up just immersing himself in his delusions because reality is literally going to be too hard for him to take or absorb. And ultimately, all of his thievery, all of it, is going to come out and it's going to be viewed with temperance. It's going to be viewed with equality and fairness, because that really is the only way to ensure that there's no backing out of this, that, they cross their T's and dot their I's, so that this information comes out and it is dealt with by investigations, by courts, whatever it is. It's going to be unbelievably fair and balanced, because let's face it, that's part of what your country is built on. And you can't, kind of change the rules just because he's a vile, cruel, useless human being. You can't. You have to treat everybody kind of equally. And I know, you're saying rich get preferential treatment. I'm here to tell you, people are going to almost like go out of their way to try to ensure that Trump gets a fair break. Because if they literally are going to charge Trump with the kind of charges that he should be charged with, it's going to, you need to make sure, this is the first time you're going to charge a president with those kinds of criminal crimes. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be people are going to work really, really hard to make sure that it comes across as balanced, so that when the judgment is passed down, he gets everything he deserves. And what that looks like in this lifetime at this time, I can't tell you, but that's what I see. So thank you so very, very much for joining me today here at Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. The readings, as you know, are now Monday, Wednesdays, Friday. I'm so glad that you're hanging in there, and your support and your comments are wonderful. And I thank you. I need to go deal with my barking dogs. I apologize if your dogs are barking. And the Insights videos come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the Positive Energy Circle is Sundays. I gotta go because he's like barking. Okay, take care. Be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.